I wanted to just comment about the joint employer standard a little bit before you take this opportunity, before you are a member of the NLRB. I assume you would, I won't ask you to comment on a case that might be before you, but I assume you would agree that buying a local franchise of a national brand is one of the main pathways to business ownerships for thousands of Americans.
I actually am not much of an expert on formations of business ownership, but I would certainly, if someone were to present that evidence to me before the board, I would absolutely consider it. Yeah.
Well, I would suggest that it is. I know in our state, for example, there are 21,291 local franchise establishments employing about 224,000 workers. And for a person without a lot of capital and who wants to get started, a chance to be a franchisee is a chance to begin to make your way up the economic ladder and realize the American dream. And for 30 years, the NLRB has taken the position that one business can't be held liable for the employment-related matters of another one. That's called the joint employer standard, but on July 29th of this year, the NLRB General Counsel authorized complaints against McDonald's USA, a franchisor, to hold it responsible as a joint employer for actions of its local franchise business owners. There are about 770,000 small business employers in America that own franchisees. And what this could lead to saying by the NLRB is that if there is an unfair labor practice by one of those small business franchisees, that the franchisor, the parent company, would be not a parent company, but that the franchisor would be liable. And as Senator Burr indicated, that liability could be so great that it would wipe out the opportunity for a person to be a franchisee and destroy that opportunity for small business. Tasty Delights, a frozen yogurt business in Franklin, Tennessee. It has 100 local franchise business locations across the country. Let's take an example of a Tasty Delight franchise. At some point, you might have to decide as a member of the NLRB whether the company in Franklin should be responsible for an unfair labor practice by a local franchise business in St. Louis, Missouri. But to make decisions like that, you would have to begin to consider to what extent the franchisor controls what goes on in St. Louis. Does that have to do with what uniform the employees wear, the prices they charge for yogurt, the advertising they post around town, how long the operating manual is, what level of detail it includes? My point is, I raise this simply to underscore what a breathtakingly important step it would be if the NLRB were suddenly to decide that a franchisor is responsible for the actions of a franchisee when it considers unfair labor practices. And I would hope that if a case like that comes before you, that you would be very careful in considering how these actions by the board might chill this opportunity for literally hundreds of thousands of Americans to own a small business franchise.
I would.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.